Welcome back to Kin in Line. This is part 30. I'm still in Kimberley. So yeah, it was nearly 2 years, 1.5 years. And here we've got a guy putting stuff in the boot of his car, probably about to go on pass with the old bungalows on the right there. So drawn at a distance, a real little 70s type motor car. As you can see, I drew everything, anything and everything. See on the back that this is army issue sort of card. Whoever knows what they used it for. But anyway, it was a nice quality card to sketch on, so I certainly made use of it. Here we got a guy in his sleeping bag, probably reading a book. Yeah, stock in trade for me. A couple of birds. And looks as though I even took to drawing a cloud. I guess clouds are nice, interesting sculptural shapes too, and one can always see something in a cloud, a face, or I suppose it depended on how much he'd smoked. Here I have two chaps pulling a little cart type thing. Would have probably been in the army. What was the saying? If it moves, carry it. If it doesn't move, paint it. I think we did a lot of painting. Sort of fire hydrants and signs and now I'm not sure where I did this windmill. Seems to be like a vibrocrete wall in the foreground, but anyway, it's a windmill. So I like windmills. They're very South African. I'm sure they're all over the world, but wherever you go in rural South Africa, you see these things. Okay, so I have no idea what's going to be in these books. So here's a small Kimberley 80 and 81. Windsorton, it says it includes, so on the Vaal River, I think it was, that joins the Orange River at some point near Kimberley. We went to this place called Windsorton. I'm not sure if the drawings are still in here. Anyway, this was one of the older bungalows at the Kimberley base. You can just sort of make out type of roof. It was probably not initially a bungalow. It was, I think, dated from the Second World War. And here's some of my makkers, my mates. Kurt, that guy I mentioned earlier. McCann, I think, on the left there. And yeah. I remember that this was towards the end. We had Mindaya, a few days left, a few weeks. We used to count down the days, So here I've got a guy on the left sketching. I sketched him, probably writing a letter. And then this was the Sergeant Major's dog. I think his name was Troop, which means, like it sounds, trooper. And a couple of quick ones down the bottom. This was McCann. Again, he actually had some dumbbells or whatever they're called. Did a bit of weightlifting. Yeah. And I remember this guy his name was Peter Bain from Cape Town. He crops up quite often at this point, I think. And he would come in focus. There we are. Sure. It's like breaking through a barrier. Look at the hand just clutching that pen. Yeah, a few lines and you've got it. So way back earlier, I drew my hand when I was still at art school. Here I was so desperate for something to draw, I had my leg out sideways like that, and I sketched the boot sort of from above and behind. So that's an army boot. Quite high cut things. I remember initially I got such bad blisters from these things. And another chess set from the imagination. Here's my friend Peter Bain again. Writing home. I don't think many people phoned home. There were a couple of call boxes in the base, but yeah, it cost you quite a lot unless you knew how to diddle the thing. As I said, I was capable of drawing completed drawings, and this wasn't posed. I mean, I don't think he even knows that I sketched him. This was a guy who lived in East London. I think he gave me a lift home a few times in his car. And there's that dog again, Troep. So I gave him a weapon. That's roughly how an R1 looked. And he's got his webbing and his steel helmet on, so he's ready. And then, of course, when you're stuck in a place like this, you get another grinning soul. That was a song by David Bowie, and I think this is what inspired my, because this guy's grinning, but he's got a grimace more than it. It's almost like a death skull or something. And he's a trapeze artist as well, so he's everything. And I don't know what inspired this, but anyway, it was an exercise in shading and creating a shape. Here we've got guys working on their inspection again, I think, polishing floors and boots, what have you. The guy at the bottom looks like the chap I mentioned who didn't have kneecaps or had knee problems. It's quite a nice one in the middle here, just a few lines. But yeah. This is Windsorton. Then, unfortunately, the best drawings from here I took out and framed and left at my family home where I grew up, and I haven't seen them since. But anyway, it's an interesting place because there used to be diamond mines, alluvial diamond mining here. And so they've got actually a lot of little mine dumps, very small ones, just scattered around. But the weekend we spent there, I picked up, just in this river, lots of semi-precious stones, tiger's eye, etc. It was actually great. I mean, we spent one night there, 2 days and one night. All we ate were T-bone steaks, and we drank a lot. And then we drove home, and I returned on the back of somebody's motorbike. in the middle of winter. It was quite a thing. And here it looks like I'm back in East London on the river. Always, these guys could have been out there fishing maybe in the Vaal River. Yeah. Perhaps that's where I did this. My crime is one of omission rather than commission. Yeah, interesting little writings when one's sort of 23 or something. Anyway, I think I'll leave it at that for now. Cheers.